Jake Retzlaff situation where I hope in these type situations above anything else, just so justice was served in regards to there being allegations about sexual misconduct,
Right.
and those have been dismissed. And so it's just a consensual sex incident between
It is.
he and the young lady. Okay. That obviously would not be an issue elsewhere. It is at BYU. He would be suspended, I believe, for 7 games.
That's right. Yep.
And so he is looking to move on, correct?
Yes. Yeah. We fully anticipate him transferring out. Yeah.
Yeah, so you got a quarterback situation here with McKay Hillstead. He played at Utah State, 11 touchdowns, 8 picks. So all three of these, well, the first 2 guys here have played some, so it's not like they're foreign to hitting the field against some decent teams, but
Right.
not much experience when you talk about Hillstead and Trayson Bourget, Western Michigan, 4 touchdown passes for him, and Bear Bachmeyer. So is there any reason to have any level of confidence? And how is this soured the BYU fan base in regards to being optimistic about this season?
Well, I don't know. Well, I can tell you what this BYU fan person believes, and I would tell this to not only BYU fans but greater college football. BYU was in the top 15 nationally in total defense last year, and they were going to be the same. They're going to be better this year. They could be somewhere closer to the top 10 in total defense. So they were always going to win with defense. Another fact is Jake Retzlaff, whether you appreciate his story or not, was a middling quarterback. Less than 67% completion percentage. He had a 1-to-1 essentially touchdown to interception ratio. So they were winning despite Jake. Jake cost us the Arizona State game last year, throwing that last, which was essentially a go, and the receiver thought it was going to be a cutback type pass. And I don't know whose fault that was, but you can only blame the quarterback on interceptions when you see them and they're blatant like that. At the end of the day, I hope he does well when he moves on. But we're not talking about Jim McMahon or Steve Young or even start Steve Sarkisian at BYU. We're talking about a player that was adequate, maybe a little bit better than average. But in my opinion, we were going to win probably despite Jake this year because of the defense is so strong. I don't think there's a reason why we couldn't do it again this year. Yeah, it's tough when you're going in with either a true freshman. Bachmeyer's a true freshman, but he also graduated from Stanford. No, that was his brother, graduated from Stanford in 2.5 years. Tiger is his name. No, Bear was a true freshman transferring from Stanford, but he was a 4-star, one of the highest rated QBs coming out in his draft class. In his recruiting class. So I hope it's Bachmeyer. I think you give the freshman a chance. Zach Wilson was a true freshman when he started at BYU and turned out to be a pretty good quarterback. So I that's where I would prefer he goes. If we lose a couple games because he's a true freshman, I'm okay with that. What I don't want is we settle on somebody else just because they have a little experience and we're hoping in some way, shape, or form they don't kill us. A freshman's going to make mistakes. Everybody has to plan on them. But if you have somebody who's got experience and they go out and they still turn the ball over, that will absolutely kill season. BYU is going to win a lot of games on their defense this year, and I don't know. I still have them at 9-3, an outside 10-2 season. They have a pretty good schedule to play against to start a new quarterback. So, we'll have to see.
Yeah, Nathan, and I'm looking at their schedule. They've got 3 very manageable games right out of the gate against Portland State, Stanford at home, at
Yeah.
East Carolina. I don't know who's scheduling for BYU that makes it a necessary trip to go out to East Carolina. Does that
Hopefully
really make
that's
any sense?
changing. Yeah, I think that was an Independence era game that they just didn't buy themselves out of. Yeah, I don't want the trips to Wyoming, the trips to East Carolina. I want to get rid of for
Yeah,
sure.
that just doesn't do BYU any good.
No,
It's
it
just no
doesn't.
reason to
No,
do that.
no.
But they are going to be a substantial favorite in all 3 of those games.
Yeah.
So maybe their quarterback, is able to, get his sea legs and be ready to roll for Colorado in week 4.
Yep.
Very nice.
Really quick on Jake Retzlaff, by the way, we are anticipating him transferring out. You have it exactly right. All the suits were dropped, everybody. The police did an investigation. This kid has been put on a pillory and has been taking darts for the last several months. And it turns out it might have been a whole lot of nothing, which is unfortunate for that to happen. But we certainly, Cougar Nation, want to pat him on the back, thank him for the service he did, and I think he can go somewhere that maybe needs a good starting, not starter, but backup quarterback, and he will win some games for you.
It isn't unfortunate, as you mentioned, Nathan, because when something like this is reported, then you can have all the retractions in the world and all the corrections of, bringing us up to date on what the charges were and that they've been dismissed and exonerated and so forth. And that always sticks around in people's perceptions. So that is unfortunate. So I'm glad that you made that statement.
Sure. Yeah. We want him to do well.